Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Vanessa. If you're here, it means that maybe you're a mother, or you want to be a mom, or you're just interested in knowing about this motherhood journey, and I'm really grateful that you're here. So today I'm going to be talking about maternity leave and basically just what are the things that I would have done differently before I went back to work after my maternity leave, and just the reality of maternity leave. So I personally thought that maternity leave would be an experience and a half. Like I thought that because babies sleep a lot, that I would be at home just chilling, sleeping a lot, having the time of my life, but that was not true. So if you've not experienced maternity leave yet, just know that me personally, maternity leave was like work because I didn't have a nanny at the time, and I got help from my grandma, but I was with my son a lot of the time, and it was just very, very hard. Like, it was like I was like a walking dead person, basically a zombie. It was so frustrating. I used to arrange my time. I'd wake up before my son and wash his clothes. And I used to wash them daily because he was born around the cold season. Yeah, May. May is usually the cold season, like now. And I just had to really arrange and organize my time. I remember there was once I was showering and I had soap all over my body and stuff, and the boy just started crying. I'm telling you guys, I literally just poured like water everywhere. I didn't even finish that soap from my body, and I just went and got him. Like, it was just a tough season and a tough period of time for us. However, I thought that going back to work, I'd be very, very excited. Although at the time, I was very lucky to have an aunt of mine who came and actually took care of my son for some few months, like 3 months, before I moved out. But when I look back, I wish I did some things a bit differently, things that I thought that were not necessary, but I should have. And if you have not yet gotten into your maternity leave, or you've not finished your maternity leave, maybe you should start preparing now with just a few points. So one, I wish that I actually pumped a lot more milk, because I remember I used to be told, wake up in the middle of the night and that's the time you have a lot of milk, like you're leaking. And I was just thinking, wow, I had a lot of leaked milk on my dresses and stuff. And that's the time that the baby's not breastfeeding as much. They're breastfeeding, but they're like in bits. So by the time I went back to work, it was so frustrating because I had to send my milk back home with a boda, just like wrap it, pump, and had to go. And that was like really costly in the first month. And it just put me on a timer because my son really did not like formula. He hated it, and it was just so frustrating because even when I did send formula, he refused. So he could only take my breast milk, and I wished that I had already pumped before and just kept like stored enough in the freezer from the time that I actually started getting enough milk. My excuses were always, I don't have enough milk, this milk is not going to be so fresh for him, what if electricity goes out? And I feel like those were really good concerns, but if we could just put in the deep freezer, I think the milk should definitely last. Or maybe you could just start like a month before, or even 2 weeks before, I guess. That's just one thing I would have done differently. The other thing, I would have probably prepared better. Like, I would have gone to work probably prior and just to see where I would pump, because then I never really had a proper designated place for pumping. Though I was very lucky to be working with only women at the time who actually most of the times really allowed me to just pump by myself and had my own space. But that's something I would possibly do. If your company doesn't give you a designated place to go and pump, then just let people know, because what happens is eventually when you go back to work, everyone sees you around, they forget that, oh, you need to pump. And sooner or later, what happens is your boobs are always engorged, your supply goes down, you're not pumping. And I get it, like, you've gone back to work, you want to prove to everyone that you can really work hard, but at the same time it's really going to hurt your milk supply, especially if you want to maintain it. And like, people just need to learn to respect that time for you. You need to let your employer know beforehand, possibly send an email or something. The third thing I wish I tried and did, I actually did try, but it didn't work out for me. I tried giving my son the bottle late, like really, really late. So the first 2 months we were just exclusively breastfeeding, and then the third month I was in a rush to try and teach him how to just use the bottle, and he had already refused, which just made my life a lot harder, and a lot harder for my auntie and my grandma at the time, who ended up giving him milk with like a bottle, or like the bottle cap, the top, so that he could drink some, because he hated it. Funny enough, though, when he had my breast milk, like the breast milk was in the bottle, he would try and take it. I don't know why he was not interested in it, and that's like a whole other video. Dealing with a child who does not like bottles is just something else altogether. Like, it's just a mess, really. So yeah, like I wish I started early enough, and I was really scared that he would hate breastfeeding later, but he never did. He's now one, actually, yeah, he's now 1 and a month, and he loves it. So I don't know. He likes both the bottle and breastfeeding. So then the last thing that I would definitely do is I would leave the house a few days a week, just like a few days a week before going back to work fully, just to prepare yourself psychologically, especially if you have someone that you don't trust. Take some time off, leave the house, go, probably even put a nanny cam if you have a house help that you don't really trust. Put the nanny cam and wait and see what's going to be happening. I do know that you're supposed to tell the nanny that you have a nanny cam, but if you don't want to, just know that you cannot use anything against them. Apparently, that's what I've been told. But it's up to you. But it's mostly for your mental being, for yourself, for the child, just to get a sense of how it would feel. A few hours in a day or a few hours a week, just leave the house, go and do something else. I know that's really tricky, especially this time with Corona, but it's possible. I tried leaving the house a few times. And it's very, very frustrating when people call you back and they're like, oh my gosh, mtoto sahi ameanza kulia, or oh my gosh, like we've run out of milk. And that just gives you a bit of like a taste of how it's going to be. Because for me, my biggest cause of anxiety was the fact that I did not leave my son with enough milk, and I had to keep sending milk. So it was very, very frustrating. We tried one formula brand which really constipated him, so that was even worse. And then we tried another one which was better, but now he didn't like the taste. So all these things, if you could just try, and from like the time your baby's a newborn, or the time your baby's at least a month old, just try and see how you can incorporate all these things together. If you have to go back to work, just structure yourself mentally. Yeah. If you have any questions, or if you have any comments or any feedback or anything that you want to tell other moms, just please do write it in the comment section. Going back to work after maternity leave is very, very emotional and very, very hard. Personally, I was lucky and blessed to have my auntie at the time, but the times that I've had to go back to work, especially even now, like I cannot imagine going back to an office during after this corona period, because I've been able to stay at home, and just going back to an office and having to look after, like, just telling my nanny, do this, do that, do this, do that, like it's a lot of work. Being a person or a working mom from an office is very, very, it's very hard. It's very hard, but we've got this. We've got this. Babies grow, they get older, and funny enough, or sooner or later, they will definitely they'll need you less in that way. So all the best to you, mamas. Bye bye.